It's wonderful to be in your presence again.
It is wonderful to be in your presence.
Uh, you're talking a lot about the importance of seeking joy tonight. Many of us express in our questions a seemingly an unwillingness to aim high. Just that a little bit more would be better than what I have now. Just a little extra thing. Like we're afraid to totally step outside the box. Can you talk to us about how we can move these heavy beliefs out of, and I know you've talked about this a lot, but why aren't we just aiming to the stars? Why do we have such trouble with reaching for the highest spot and then maybe landing somewhere between here and there instead of just, I'll just take one little step. Why does it have to be baby steps? Why can't we let go?
You can let go. All of you can do such a thing. The predominant answer to that question is that when the inner self communicates a direction, a thought, from which then you have a choice to take action, is when the physical mind, the rational self, would like to point out the pros and the cons. They would like to evaluate potential outcomes. And more often than not, the initial idea that tickled one, that felt free, felt easy, felt happy, is then not acted upon. That thought that came from the inner self is not put into motion because of a limiting or false belief, which is why so many have come forward to try to assist mankind, humanity, and to rid itself of this prison. It is a prison that each person holds themselves in from navigating a path that will lead to joy because it's unknown. The decision not to place an outcome on any event or opportunity is very frightening to most because it represents the unknown. And the unknown has been taught to children, or most children, that the unknown is dangerous, that the known is safe, you see. And this is for most humans the number one reason why, when the inner self is communicating and it wants to go here, or it wants to do this, or it wants to do something that others might think is silly or outrageous or whatever have you, the physical mind, the rational self, will present a list of reasons and do's and don'ts. And Aunt Mary said this, and remember that person that I had experienced 10 years ago, until most of the ideas that come from your intuitive mind are never getting to a place where that thought can become in physical motion, meaning action is not taken based on the communication from that portion of the inner self. The idea then is to educate mankind and to demonstrate what is real and what is not. And only love is real. Only love is real. Love is the safety net. Love is the vessel that trust can reside in confidently and never have cause to worry, you see. Only love is real.
So spontaneity is based in self-love.
Yes. Let us say more clearly, allowing these spontaneous portions of your nature to freely express itself, to freely put itself into action, thought in motion. Oh, it's so delicious. It's so delicious. It has the same delicious quality, whether it's engaging in a relationship, or taking a hike on a beautiful day, or talking on the phone to a beloved friend. You see, whenever it is acted upon in that moment spontaneously, it always has that quality. And the physical mind, the rational mind that wants to intrude with all of these other thoughts that are reflective of limiting and false beliefs, they squash the emotion of that freedom, that joy, the spontaneity, your creativity. Imagine for a moment there is a young man who would like to woo a young woman, and he gets an impetus to just pick up the phone and just talk for a few moments. Yes? But let us say that a friend has told him that calling a young lady a certain amount of times in the first week is not good because we do not want to give her that much power. Yes? We do not want to be that open, that spontaneous, that vulnerable with another human being because, let us say, the friend believes that one must be guarded, one has to go slow. Yes?
Yes.
There comes a choice. But the young man who disregards what the rational friend says, what the physical mind says, and puts that delicious thought in motion, takes action, picks up the phone, and has a lovely phone call, and then hangs up the phone after that lovely phone call, now has the experience to say, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I listened to that part of myself. I'm going to do that more often. You see, and then confidence starts to build in oneself. Yes, to honor oneself, to move through their daily life with the integrity of every day wanting to honor your purpose in being here, which is to follow bravely that portion of oneself, even if it flies in the face of everything anyone has ever told you. We spoke earlier, did we not, of the people who were told they could not walk, but they decided not to believe those people, and then they could walk, yes? People
Yes.
who were told they had incurable diseases, they decided, it was a decision, it was a choice not to believe that and to trust in oneself, and they healed themselves. You've heard these stories where people tell stories that they were hesitant to pursue a certain job or a certain love relationship, but they disregarded what everybody said, and it was a most fulfilling experience. You have heard these stories. Every time a human being honors the joyous thought that is communicated from within, from your inner self, and is acted upon spontaneously, it is the spice of life that you came here to experience in physical form. That is it. Now, let us say that same young man, to him, picking up the phone was the action that he wanted to take. But let us say it was a different young man. A different young man would have done something differently. That young man may have sent a little text, or even maybe have dropped a small bouquet of flowers that he picked on her porch. You see the creative approaches. You see how they're all different, yes?
Yes.
But each one can honor the approach that they wanted to take spontaneously in that moment, even though they were all different. And for all three, they were fulfilling because they honored the thought from the inner self and then took action immediately on it. They did not weigh the pros and the cons. They did not allow their fears to take hold of a thought that was coming from the most powerful, most loving part of themselves. You see, they trusted themselves and acted upon it. That is why you came. That is it. To hear that voice, to hear your own voice, that part of you, and to act on it, no matter what anyone says about it. You see,
That's the
that's
that's the
passion.
inspiration that's got the higher
Higher energy
vibration to it.
frequencies. And the more you do that every day, whether it's wanting to take a walk or wanting to watch a particular show or wanting to talk to a particular person or making love, whatever that is, if you have a daily life where you're honoring that in yourself, your whole life has become passionate. Whether you're getting an ice cream cone or you're experiencing amazing sex with a lover, your whole life becomes passion at that point.
And it becomes easier and easier to recognize those
Yes,
little secondary thoughts as just not that important and not founded
that's the
in
rational
reality.
mind. That's the rational mind.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. Find your passion. If I could leave all of you here tonight with words for you, if we never rendezvous again, and these were the last words that I was going to speak to you, pursue your passion. Pursue the things that excite you. Don't get lost in the voices of the past. Don't get lost in your skewed perspectives of the past. Follow it, and follow it right away. Take action right away and experience that joy. And the next day, do it again, even if it's with something else. And the third day, do it again, and over and over and over again, until one day you wake up and you realize you're the happiest you've ever been. And no thing and no one is responsible for it but you. And you love that. And you love your life. And you can't wait to get out of bed. Every day, honor yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, tell yourself you are trustworthy. You see, you are worth loving. It is already you. You embody the energy of unconditional love. You are already loved. All you have to do is allow it. That's it. Allow your inner voice to communicate the original thought and follow it. Follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it. Not others, you. Follow you. That is where your joy is. You know yourself much better than you think you do. You are not afraid of the unknown. You are perfectly okay enjoying each moment to moment. You were okay with that when you came into these bodies. You are okay with that now. Every day, every moment is a decision. It is a choice. Know why you're making your choices of your thoughts. You don't have to have walls. You don't have to go slow unless you feel like. You don't have to go slow because you think you have to control something, because that implies that you don't trust you, and you can. It's a decision. It's a choice. Choose you. Do not choose fear. Choose you. You are all that you ever needed here to create everything you've ever wanted to sample. This world is supposed to be your playground. Do you understand? Every moment you are awake, this entire world is your playground. It is still shocking to many of us that there is so much misery and pain and suffering, and this is your playground. Do you not see all the toys? Do you not see all the toys around you?
I do. Thank
Very
you.
good. You are most welcome.